guys, I'm Nicholas. It is my 11th birthday today and we're off to the Carpet Museum in Kidderminster.
It was Woodward Grosvenor. This building was their offices and their sort of administration part. And if you know the building just up the road where all the pigeons live at the moment, the one that's been the law courts and things, it's looking very sad, up by the gardens where the fountain is. That was the other part of their building of Woodward Grosvenor. It was a very wealthy, big carpet factory. Now this building, we've been open, will be 9 in October, and this is the only carpet museum in the country. So you're in a unique place here, and this is the bit we're in. This part here, which were all the weaving sheds, this is Morrison's supermarket now, behind us, going that way, so here. And when Morrison's acquired this site, because if you remember, they used to be over there where Dunelm was, but they wanted to expand, and they acquired this site, which was pretty getting towards derelict and very empty. Well, they knocked all those weaving parts down, but this was a heritage building, so they couldn't knock this down, but they didn't want it. So it worked out very well that there was a group of ex-carpet weavers and workers who for 30 years had a dream of having a carpet museum, and it all worked out that they achieved a lottery grant at the same time, which enabled them to take on this building and refurb it like this and turn it into the carpet museum. So it was very, very special. Now if you look at this carpet here and have a little walk up here in a little while, it demonstrates different patterns that you'll never have really seen in houses, but we remember them, wouldn't we? And people used to love having very ornate and patterned carpets like this, and they'd even have a different one in each room. So whereas I don't know, have you got carpets at home or have you got floorboards? Which have you got?
I've got carpets.
Have you got carpets at home?
Or
And they've even promised to name a street after them.
I work with him for the Women's Week's Leadership in Church Street. Each week we are given a new job by the master, which has to be finished by the next 3 days. If it's not done, we don't get paid at all. So sometimes we work all night to finish on time.
Fall day, either Thursday or Saturday, is when we allow the finished carpet length to fall from the loom, get it inspected and measured by the master, and hopefully get paid. But before that, I'll have to clip all the loose threads and shear the cut hole evenly. That's the part I hate.
The 4 shillings a week I get paid by the weaver doesn't go very far. I eat dry bread for breakfast and tatties be salt for dinner.
I know my craft, and I work hard. Each week, the boy and I can weave a good 25 yards of Wilton carpet, 3/4 of a yard wide, and I get a shilling a yard length for my toils. Out of that comes the rent for my house, the loom, coal and candles, and pay for the drawer boy. So I'll have maybe 12, 15 shillings left in my pocket, and that has to feed and clothe my family until next fall day. Fat chance of me ever having money enough to buy one of my own carpets.
All they do is spend it on ale and bets on fighting of some kind. Dogs, cocks, even bare knuckle with each other. The weavers don't deserve any better. And they're constant complaining about the hours they work. 16 hours a day is perfectly normal in this day and age.
I'll be damned if I'm accepting these rates of pay. Look at how comfortable the masters are in their handsome mansions, with servants and all. They're lining their pockets at our expense, and we weavers can hardly afford to put food on the table. Things got so desperate last week that I helped myself to several pockets full of yarn to sell in the alehouse. Some weavers will even steal the end of another's carpet to sell.
In the book tells a band of weavers returning from a weavers' committee meeting. The leaders tried to curb the more turbulent spirits, but the mob were having none of it. Mr. Cooper stood at the gate of his mill with an iron bar, threatening the mob if they tried to force the entrance. Stones were thrown at the windows of the factory. We boys did our share. Then the mob broke through.
After ransacking the mill, we moved on to Mr. Brinton's house and disturbed a party of masters we found gathered there, but our quarrel alerted the magistrates and watchmen, who engaged in a melee of fisticuffs with us. Then the bailiff, spectacles on nose, began to read the riot act.
The town's inhabitants have pressed Sir Robert Peel to provide sufficient military force to prevent further instances of these disgraceful and riotous proceedings. Some of the weavers' leaders have been sent to Worcester Jail. Then all the carpet masters, including myself, are standing together to fix the rates of pay for the weavers' piecework at a commercially profitable level.
At least I have a job, unlike the many wretches in the countryside. The town is booming. Nearly 20,000 people, it's been said, and rightly known as the most important centre of carpet manufacture in the country.
We've had orders to carpet the entire House of Commons and many of the aristocracy's grand houses. We've put together a display of all the best Kidderminster handcrafted designs at the Great Exhibition for the Queen, Prince Albert and the world's royalty to see. The Kidderminster weave, Brussels, Wilton, tapestry and chenille Axminster. And very fine it is too.
The Weavers' Committee are warning us about job losses. Look at how the Lancashire cotton mills and their huge steam-powered looms have thrown all the skilled cotton workers into poverty. But the masters won't listen. So what can we do?
Henry Brinton and I watched Erastus Bigelow's steam-powered loom at the Great Exhibition. But I cannot see it as a serious threat to traditional hand looms. John Crossley in Halifax has purchased one. But I don't expect he'll be making much impact on Kidderminster's fortunes.
Coat and got a gold pocket watch here. He's the gentleman, and these are his people that work for him in his factory, like a typical family here. And who do you think this lady was dressed like this? You think she did? Sorry? For him, yes. She was one of his maids who worked in his house doing all the jobs for him and serving him his meals and keeping his house tidy. You probably have quite a few servants at the house doing all the jobs. But these would be a typical family who worked for him either in his factory or at home. Have you ever seen one of these? Yeah, that's before we had Dysons or Hoovers or whichever sort you got at home, that's how you cleaned your rug. You took it outside and you threw it over the washing line and you gave it a good beating, and that was called a carpet beater. And you'd knock all the dust out and all the dirt. Yeah. And then the children who'd be workers, she'd been putting stuff on her spool here, putting the yarn on. That's what we were talking about. There you go, the spinning wheel. And here he is. He's dipping this skein of wool that's been made into that bucket, and he'd be dyeing it whichever colour they wanted it to be to weave for the carpet. So, very good. It went round 1, and it's picked up 1 and 2. Picked up frames 1 and 2. Because it picked up frames 1 and 2, it's picked up these threads here. Okay. So get my shuttle, which has got lots of yarn on it, and put it through that nice space that's just been made. Bring it down, and then we're going to beat back towards me, and then we're going to do the same thing again. So again, watch and see which pegs go up this time and which frames come up. There we go, it's turned it round and it's picked up frames 1 and 3 this time, so it's different. So that's giving me a different set of threads coming up. Put it down again, beat it towards me, and so on. And you do that hundreds and hundreds of times a day, much faster than I've done it, and that would eventually give you your cloth. Once you've done your cloth, at the end of the week, take it down into town, somebody looks it over, says, some mistakes here, or the pattern's not very good there, I'll give you 4 shillings for it. If it had been perfect, they might have given you 5 shillings for it, but I bet they always try to find some mistake with it so that they can push the price down and give you less money.
Bye bye, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell and give this video a huge thumbs up. Thanks for watching, bye.